Good morning, guys. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I just spent like a whole hour already recording this video, but my iPhone storage ran out and I didn't notice. So, it's light out at the moment. It's like 7 a.m. And I'm only saying that because, yes, I still fucking woke up early. It's Sunday. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. Because every single day is fucking Monday when you want to make progress in life, man. And I want to talk about something really important today. I want to get right into it. I don't want to yap too much. When's the fucking last time you have actually asked yourself what your emotions mean? And what I mean by that is, if you don't critically think about your emotions in life, if you don't ask yourself what each and every single one of your emotions mean, then you leave it up to society, you leave it up to the world to tell you what your emotions mean. And if you're watching this video, you don't want to become like the rest of society. You don't want to become like a majority of people in this world, right? You want to be different. You want to actually achieve your potential as a man. And so in order to do that, you must be different. You must think in a different way. Because it's only the people who do not follow the regular line of thinking that become different. If you don't change, things don't change. And so today we're going to be talking about depression and anxiety and these variety of bad emotions. And right now I want to say, in life as a man, your fucking depression is not a real thing. You may feel depressed, you may feel anxious, but let me tell you right now, it is not a reason you should be regressing in life. It is not a reason for you to try to fill your hole with women, with vices, with weed, with alcohol, with porn, with food. Because, society, what they're going to tell you about depression, anxiety, is that, it's a bad emotion. You shouldn't feel that type of way. And so because you think it's a bad emotion, you take bad actions when you feel that. And those bad actions, they build up so much over time that you get to the point where you look in the mirror and you're truly just fucking unhappy with what you see. You get to the point where you look back at your life and you say, fuck, dude, I've been living out of alignment for so many years. And I'm so far away with who I could have been, with the best version of myself. You shove so much shit under the rug for so long that in order to clean that up, it's going to take all day. And so in this video, we are going to, might be an hour long, we are going to fucking change your mind and belief system about depression, about anxiety. Because if you don't change it, man, guess what? Nobody's going to come and fucking change it for you. Nobody's going to come pull you out this state besides yourself. If you want to get out this state, it's up to you. And understand, it is your duty as a man to have the ability to overcome struggles. It is your duty as a man to have the ability to pull yourself out of a deep depression. It must be your ability as a man to overcome these things. Because nobody's going to put clothes on your kids. Nobody is going to put food in your kid's mouth. Nobody is going to provide for your family besides you. So realize that. I'm making this video because I was watching this YouTube video yesterday. It's from this fitness influencer, Marco Spaziano. He goes by Jack Italian. Maybe you know him, maybe you don't. And I've never watched a YouTube video of his before, but it just popped up. And I know him because I've seen him on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And I was like, let me watch this video. Because it was titled, like, I'm no longer Jack Italian or something like that. Or, like, whatever. And so I was like, this is interesting. Let me watch it. And he starts the video off by saying, I'm like, sorry, guys, I haven't posted in 3 months. I've just been going through a super hard time in life. Like, pretty much I've been depressed. Pretty much I've been lost. And I'm like, damn, dude, that sucks. But you're kind of being a bitch. Because, like, you seem like you have it made. You seem like you have everything. You got the sponsorships. You got the money. You got the followers. You got this, that, and the third. So I just really wasn't understanding where he was coming from. And it was like a 15-minute long video. And I just keep watching it. And finally, at the end, he finally sits down in the car and kind of talks, and he tells exactly what's going on. And he says, for the longest time, he's been trying to fill a hole inside of himself with vices, like with women, with expensive things, with clothes, with watches, with cars, even with food sometimes. Like he's gone on binge eating. And part of why he felt trapped down in life is because he was signed to this company of which he didn't really want to be signed with anymore. Because he had to act a certain way, be a certain person because he was signed to this company. He had to push products that he didn't really want to push. And so every single day he woke up not feeling motivated to just get out of bed and do something with himself because he felt trapped down in life. And not only did he feel trapped down, but he was living out of alignment with what he could have been with the best version of himself for so many years. And so for the longest time, he was having to face the shit he was shoving under the rug and also feeling trapped down. But, his agreement with that company came up and he finally started to feel like motivated once again. He didn't feel trapped down. And he said he wants to start his own clothing brand. And that's what's helped him give him that purpose to wake up every single day and make a change. And so a lot of men who go through depression, and I've been through it so many times as well. I remember at 12, I had one of my worst depressions. And it was because I felt trapped down in life. There's a lot of shit going on in my household. I thought about jumping out my window every single night, dude. It was just bad. And I've been through it so many more times, especially after breakups. And it's because I felt trapped down in life. I felt like a small speck of sand. I felt like life is just so fucking hard. I felt like nothing ever went my way. Depression is another term for regression, like I said. And so you are going to be depressed in life when you are regressing. And that emotion of depression, I want to let you know it's not a bad emotion. And we need to change that belief, because if you believe it's a bad emotion, guess what? You're never going to be able to get something good out of it. So you need to really think about every emotion you feel, and you need to be able to see the light in it. And so let me give you a new belief for depression. Depression is a notification for self-preservation. Meaning, if you don't want to self-destruct later in life, right? If you want to actually live a good life, you need to pay attention to when you feel depressed, because it is basically it is your soul trying to get you to deep rest. Depression, deep rest. And when you rest, when you lay down in bed at night, what happens? You think, right? You think a lot. Your mind's running. I know last night I got 3 hours of sleep. I was up till 12. I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 3:30 because my mind was still running, and I still had to wake up at 4:30. So I barely got any sleep. Because your mind fucking runs when you go to sleep. And so when you get into a depressed state, it is your soul trying to get you in tune with your thoughts. Right? Because when you lay down in bed, you're not, the senses of, you're not seeing things, you're not hearing things, you're not touching things. And so you get really in tune with that one sense of thought. And a lot of people, they run away from it with vices. They have the TV on when they go to sleep. They scroll on TikTok, right? Or they eat a bunch of junk food right before they go to sleep, so they have carb mind and they can't think. Or they get super high, so they drown out their thoughts. All these different ways of numbing out their thoughts. And they keep constantly running away from facing that darkness of which you need to face. Because once you face it, once you truly fucking face it and truly embrace it, is when you can learn what it is trying to teach you. But that really all starts with acceptance. You have to accept that you feel this way. And you have to accept that it's not bad. Because that's the only time you can make progress, and you can pay attention to what that depression is trying to tell you. And you can learn from it. Because again, depression is regression. You have been moving backwards in life. You've been moving farther away from who you could be, the best version of yourself. I had a young man come to me yesterday on a call. He wanted to join my coaching. He did. He signed up for 6 months. And he's like, I'm 20 now and I'm completely lost in life. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want to do. I'm depressed. I have no motivation to get up. I wake up at 5 p.m. like every single day. I'm lost. Help me. And so I started to uncover everything in his life. We had like a 2-hour long talk. And I came to find out he had this big dream of becoming an inspiration for disabled people because he has cerebral palsy. He has this big dream of becoming an inspiration for disabled people. And I asked, what have you been doing to become that inspiration? Nothing. Okay, well, that's the first start. So this is who you want to become. This is the best you. And for the past 20 years, you've made no progress towards becoming that best you. You understand why that would make you feel depressed, right? Yes. Because you're currently doing something with your day that does not align with what you want to become, with what your conscience is calling you towards. Like, we all have a purpose here, and you need to understand you have a purpose here. God put you on this earth for a reason, and whether you believe in God or not, let's just imagine at the end of his life, when you die, you pass away, you come face to face with the best version of yourself. And God says to you, or this person says to you, this was my vision for you, for your life, for your soul. This is what you could have became if you stopped running away and just fucking faced that darkness head on and made that change you needed to make. This is what you could have become. And you look at that person and you're so completely different from him. So completely different. That's how you can know what your purpose is, man. What does that person look like? And I said to him, have you thought about making this change? He's like, yeah, I always set a task list for myself every single morning, but I never end up accomplishing it. And I'm like, why is that? And he talks about like his past. These relationships he's had which hurt him. These people around him which weren't good for him. And I said, you just have to accept that shit, man. You have to accept that person hurt you. You have to accept what happened there. And you have to understand the only way to overcome the past is to accept it so that you can move on and start making progress and start loving yourself. Because the reason you aren't moving forward is because you're allowing the past to hold you, to keep you down. You're allowing these, you're not facing these challenges and this shit you've been through head on. And so you don't know how to make the change to overcome it. When you face those challenges late at night, when you're trying to go to sleep and all those thoughts are racing, you eat a whole bunch of food to numb your mind, but what you need to do is face that shit head on and feel it and understand what it's trying to tell you and accept that that's what you've been through, man. There's nothing you can do about it. And you have to accept that if you would have made that change you needed to make a year ago, you would be in a better spot today. And then once you accept that, you can realize that, fuck, I just need to make the fucking change. I need to start progressing forward and building up compounding interest and start cleaning out that shit that I've been shoving under the rug for so long if I want to get out of this fucking shitty state I live in. Because nobody's going to come do it for you, man. But the thing is, a lot of people face the roadblock of thinking to themselves, but I have to wait for this moment to come, for that moment to come in order to make the change, right? Because you feel trapped down by something in life. But you have to understand, there's always going to be roadblocks. And if you always look at that roadblock and see it as a roadblock, and you aren't able to see a way around it, well, fuck, you're going to face that roadblock your whole life. I'll start becoming this person I want to become when I graduate, when I finish this, when this happens. Why not now? Because every single day that goes by, you're still shoving shit under that rug. Another thing he said to me, man, is his family, they face heart attacks. Okay, they have heart attacks. His dad had one like 5 years ago, he said, and his whole family went on this like 800 calorie special diet for a couple months right after. And I said, that sounds horrible. He's like, yeah, it was. I'm like, you understand why that happened. It's because he's been suffering shit under his rug for so long that one day it just fucking exploded. And he needed a whole fucking cleaning crew to come clean it up. Do you want to be that? No. Yeah, nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants to have to clean up fucking 50 years of shit they've been shoving under the rug in 10 weeks. Realize that's what's going to happen to you. If you keep thinking that what you're going through is bad, what you're going through is the greatest fucking thing ever. Because if you weren't going through that, man, you would have no reason to change. You would have nothing drive you to make that change. Look at it as an opportunity, as a gift. Maybe it was a breakup. Maybe you just hate the job. Maybe you just hate your life. Maybe you just hate your body, man. And the reason you feel depressed about it is because you know the change you've been needing to make, but you haven't been making it. And you've been using your depression as an excuse. But it's not a fucking excuse. It is your notification that you need to change. It's telling you exactly what needs to happen for you to start becoming that best version of yourself that you are going to meet at the end of your life. Now, the hard part is a lot of people, they see that best version and they overcomplicate the change that they need to make. Because you've been living out of alignment for so long, there's so much change you need to make. There's all these things you think about, and that's why it's like, holy shit, it's so much. And that's why you wake up every day with like what you need to do, but it's just so much change you gotta make. And so you start small, man. You start fucking small. Because becoming the best you is like climbing Mount Everest. Nobody just fucking starts by climbing Mount Everest. You start by climbing a hill. Then you start by climbing a mountain. Then you start by climbing a taller mountain and a taller mountain. And eventually, 50 mountains later, you get to climbing Mount Everest. The reason that has to happen is because you have to build up that endurance. You have to build up that strength by climbing up these mountains. But also when you get to the top of the mountain, your eyes see farther than they have ever saw before. And what I mean by that is your belief in yourself increases every single time you overcome a struggle of which you are facing, or a vice of which you are facing. And overcoming that struggle or that vice of which you are facing, that increases that belief, and that allows you to rise to the next level. Because you cannot rise above which you do not see in yourself. If you see yourself here, you cannot rise above here. So you must increase your ability to see something in yourself by overcoming struggles. Because a lot of the people, they face the struggles, they face the depression, they face the anxiety, but they don't see themselves overcoming that and becoming a better person because they never just try to overcome the struggle. They keep struggling with it. You know, let me share a personal story with you because I think it will help you. I came up with this whole pillar I live my life by, and I get all my clients to live their life by. It's called adherence to the best of you. It's one of the 4 pillars of my coaching and of life. And I came up with this a year and a half ago when I was in pursuit of my first bodybuilding show. And I was coming out of a really dark space in life at the time. A really dark spot. I just got cheated on. I was flipping burgers. Hated my life. Broke. Didn't look good. Failed businesses, etc. I was coming out at that point, and I was trying to make a change. I was working toward this show for the first 8 weeks. I made some progress. I maybe lost like 10 pounds, but again, I went from eating like a shitty diet to kind of get on a diet. So like 10 pounds wasn't a lot, man. It wasn't a lot. And I started to feel anxious because I was thinking about that show every single day, right? And I was like, I don't think I'm going to be ready. I don't think I'm going to step on stage in shape. I just didn't see myself looking good on that day. So I was getting anxious. And I kept running from that anxiety. Like every single weekend, I was going out. I remember going out to the clubs. I remember always hitting on my friends, asking them to hang out. I remember even times where like nothing would happen. I would just sit in my room and like, oh, dude, I would just try to numb out my mind in some type of way. I would like cheat on my diet even. Because I had this anxiety that I was feeling. And I was running away from it. I wasn't paying attention to what it was telling me. But what happened is I went over to my friend's house one night. And I quit smoking weed. Like I quit being a pothead 4 years ago. Once in a blue moon, I'll smoke. Maybe like once or twice a year. Special occasion. Just fucking happens sometimes. So I go to his house and I end up smoking a little. And the reason I quit smoking is because it causes me to overthink. It gives me a lot of anxiety. And so what ends up happening is I get that major rush of anxiety. And my mind just starts racing about everything, man. I start thinking about fucking everything I've been doing for the past 8 weeks and where I'm going. And I realize, holy shit, dude. It changed my mind, but I was able to see how I lived my life the past 8 weeks and how I was basically living out of alignment with what I knew I could have done. And that I wasn't facing that anxiety head on. And I didn't want to make that change because it was hard. I didn't want to make that change because the hard part about it was accepting that I was being a bitch. And that I was trying to fill a hole of which I had in myself with women. Okay, I was constantly on Tinder, Snapchat, going out, trying to meet a woman. With porn, if I couldn't get a woman, well, fuck it. Get an internet girlfriend for the night. With food, so after the fucking porn or the girl, fill yourself up so that you can numb your mind because you know you just made a mistake and so you can fall asleep. With YouTube, with fucking music all the time so you didn't have to listen to your own thoughts. Waking up late and etc. Like all these different fucking things that were regressing me in life towards the goal I had for myself. I saw all that and because I was so fucking high, I just couldn't control my mind and it was making me face all that. And I realized acceptance is the first step to overcoming the challenge of which you are facing. You have to accept that you are being a bitch. You have to accept that you're filling a hole with instant gratification things that aren't going to fill that hole for super long. You have to accept that you're going to have to make the change, and you're going to have to withdraw, and you're going to have to do some fucking cleaning, and etc. And I accepted that, man. And I went home that night and I said to myself, you're going to make the fucking change. I woke up the next day, 5 a.m., and I cut all that bullshit out of my life for the next 12 weeks. In the next 12 weeks, I made the most fucking progress I've ever made in my life. My Instagram went from like 20 to 130,000 followers. I lost like 26 more pounds, got in such extreme shape. I was getting millions of views. I felt good about myself. I was getting compliments everywhere I went. And I started my first successful business after that show. And that's the coaching business I still run today, a year and a half later, which has maybe a decent amount of money. And I've traveled Thailand since then. I've gone on so many trips. I've made so many connections with so many people in the fitness and self-improvement industry. And it was all because I faced that shit. I faced that darkness. And if you don't face that darkness head on, you are never gonna be able to understand what it's trying to tell you. So stop using your depression, your anxiety as a reason to cope, as a reason to have vices, as a reason to be a bitch. Because understand, nobody's gonna make the change for you. Nobody is going to fucking buy you the Ferrari, is gonna help you out, is gonna put clothes on your kids and put money in your pocket and pay for a fucking roof over your head later in life. Nobody's gonna do that. When you look at homeless people on the road, what are they usually? They're usually fucking men. Because in life as a man, it's hard. Life as a man is fucking hard. Nobody cares. Nobody's coming to save you. It's different for women. But for us men, we have to be the one to save ourselves. And so if you cannot make friends, and if you cannot overcome your depression, your struggles, your vices, you are going to be fucking lost forever. And if you aren't in control of yourself, then guess what? Something else must be in control of you. For example, you must work for a job you hate. You must do something you hate. You must be somebody you don't want to be. Because when you go into a job you don't like, you can't be your true authentic self. When you work for somebody or a company that you don't like, you can't be your true authentic self. That's what that Marco, Jack Italian, was, experiencing. That's why I brought him up, is because if you cannot get in control of yourself, something else is going to be in control of you. And guess what that brings? That brings that feeling when you wake up every single morning that, fuck, I don't want to live my life. Because every single person knows who they want to be and what they want to do. Every single person has a purpose. You have a purpose. You have a reason you are here on planet Earth. You fucking do. And so that's why when you wake up and you're not aligned with that purpose, you feel like shit. That's why you hate that job. Because that's not your purpose to flip burgers. It's not your purpose to sit at a desk. You are here for something greater. So much fucking greater that you can't even comprehend it yet. But I can see it in you. And so if you don't get in control of you, you're going to live that for the rest of your life. And that should fucking scare you. It should scare you more than staring at the wall for an hour and letting yourself feel those bad emotions. Thinking how you've been living out of alignment. Thinking about all the things you've been trying to fill that hole with. That hole, every single person has. I'm not just saying you have it. Every single man has it, because men are created. They're not born. When you're born into this world as a man, you're born with zero value. You're born at zero. And so you have a hole that must be filled. By becoming somebody. By becoming what you were meant to become. How do you know what you're meant to become? Look at every single struggle, every single adversity, every single problem you've dealt with growing up. That's who you're meant to become. You are meant to become a man you admire. And a man you admire is somebody who has overcame the issues of which you have gone through and has become an inspiration for similar people. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Now, the things you're going to accomplish to finally become that man, they'll revolve around it. They won't exactly make sense, but they'll revolve around it. Okay? That's your fucking purpose, man. It's to become that man you admire. It's to turn your pain into power. And the kid I was talking to on the call last night that joined the team, he has cerebral palsy. And so his whole life, he's kind of had the belief that he's not capable of certain things. He's not able to do this, that, and the third, because people have told him that. People have made him feel that way. But deep down, he wants to be that change. Deep down, he truly believes that he could be the change and the inspiration for disabled people. But he hasn't instilled that belief in himself because he didn't put in the work. And so I'm going to get him to put in the work so he believes in himself, so that he actually does the things he knows he needs to do to become that inspiration. So that he actually sets up the camera and talks to it about what he's been through, so that other people find his content and get inspired by him. Because there's other people going through that shit. The work is what's going to instill the worth in you as a man. That's how you're going to take that hole and you're actually going to fill it, is through the work. Going out and fucking a girl, that's not work. Eating fucking a big-ass pizza before you go to sleep, that's not work. Smoking a bong, that's not work. Hitting a vape, that's not work. None of that shit's work. You know what is work? Getting up at 5 a.m. Doing your cardio. Tracking your macros. Going to work and then working after. That's what instills that worth inside of you. And you must start climbing the mountains towards the best version of yourself now. Because the longer you wait to start climbing the mountains, you're going to run out of time. To become the best you, it's climbing Mount Everest. That's what it is. And nobody with little to no experience can fucking climb Mount Everest. They'll fucking die. It will be impossible for them. You need endurance. You need strength. You need experience. You need struggle, because the depth of your struggle will be the height of your success. And so you need to start climbing the mountains of which you need to face now. Stop putting them off. Stop shoving them under the rug. Because one day you're not going to be as vibrant and young as you are right now. So you got to climb the mountains. Start out with the hill. Start out with a small mountain. To climb out the mountain is going to be a struggle, but it's going to increase your endurance. It's going to increase your capability to climb a mountain. And once you get to the top, again, you see farther than your eyes have ever saw before. And that increases that belief you have in yourself. And once you increase that belief, you're able to go after the next goal that pushes you towards that ultimate best version of yourself. That's the core layer of your purpose, the center of the onion. And each layer of the onion is the chapter, basically the goal you're currently accomplishing in your life. And to give you a comparison so you can understand it, my purpose and what I believe at the moment is to become one of the world's best bodybuilders, right? I want to become an inspirational bodybuilder. I don't have to place top 1 in Olympia, but I want to be remembered as a great bodybuilder. Second is become a world-class coach and mentor. I want to be able to take anybody and change their life. And I want to become a good father and husband. And so my current chapter, my current layer purpose, my current goal is to become a pro bodybuilder within a year in the classic physique division. I don't give a fuck about the card or the title. What I care about is the journey there, climbing that mountain, because I understand it's a tall mountain to climb. It's not Mount Everest. It's not like a super tall mountain, but it's a tall mountain to climb. And it's going to bring struggle, more struggle than I've ever faced before. And the depth of your struggle is the height of your success. And so by climbing that mountain, well, guess what? It's going to get me one step closer to the ultimate purpose of becoming a great bodybuilder. But then throughout that experience, I'm going to learn a lot about myself. And I can only understand people and help people as much as I understand and have helped myself. And so that helps out the other part of my ultimate version, becoming a world-class coach and mentor. And in becoming an amazing father and husband, well, that comes through character. I have to have strong character as a man. And the only way to build character is to actually test it through physical struggle. Every person wants character. But nobody wants to actually get tested. And then when they do get tested, they bitch out. They side with comfort. They stay complacent. They stay with just what they have when they're able to expand the character so much more than what it already is. You know, one last thing. Part of the reason I was up last night is because my mind was racing about this recent girl I was talking to. And I want to bring this up because I know a lot of young men and men go through depression, or maybe a mild depression or a mild slump in life because of like a breakup or a girl. You know, us as men, women are really our everything. And so woman can really make or break you. And recently I was talking to this girl. It was amazing. And we just went our separate ways, honestly. Won't go too into it, but we went our separate ways. It was good for the time being. But when it first ended, I didn't really feel too much about it. But then over the past couple months, I've been thinking about it more. You know, I've been allowing myself to feel it. And head into that darkness, which is going to be there either way. Because it's what happens when you get connected with somebody. And, you know, this morning I spent some time journaling and thinking about it because it was a thought that was racing in my mind and keeping me up. It wasn't making me feel depressed, but it was racing in my mind, so I paid attention to it. I didn't just shove it away. I didn't just go to vices, turn to go and fuck another woman or whatever. No, I've been moving ahead. But I gave some time to think about it so that I don't shove it under the rug. Because I know if I shove it under the rug, well, it might cause me to do some dumb shit. And so I thought about it, and, I just discovered I learned something from it. And I think when you allow yourself to learn something from the shit you've been through, you can turn it into a positive experience and you can be grateful for it. And a really bad state to live in is entitlement. The only way out of entitlement is gratitude. And so I had to find a way to be grateful for that relationship. Because for a long time, I said, fuck that bitch. Honestly. But something I understand is it's nothing personal. Anything in life is never personal. If somebody cheats on you, if somebody doesn't want to be with you, if somebody does whatever, it's never personal. It's a them issue, trust me. Never take it personal. It's never you. And so I had to come to that decision to find a reason to be grateful. And so this morning I was writing it down how I was feeling that type of way, and I said, to myself, well, what did she teach me? What did I learn from it? Well, she taught me to be a lot more careful and a lot more selective with who I give my time, energy, attention, and commitment to. Because that's been my issue. I've just given my time, energy, and commitment to women so easily. And that's why I always get hurt. And so now I'm grateful for that, because I realize now I can head into my future with this new learning lesson. And that's going to help me get one step closer to a better me. Because I'm not going to make that mistake I have been making. And I know it's a mistake because every time it happens, I feel bad. And so understand. Don't shove that shit under the rug. Ask yourself a question. And sometimes questions are more important than answers. So question everything. Because you gotta come to fucking answers. Well, you gotta think about things, man. You really fucking do. Because if you just let them linger, again, that's shoving that shit under the rug. And if you shove it under the rug too fucking long, one day you're gonna be 30, there's gonna be no more room, boom, it's gonna all bust out. And then you have to clean it all up then. So don't fucking wait. Make the change today, man. Start making whatever change you know you need to make today. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, start the change you know you need to make. Everybody knows the change they need to make. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, and that's the first place for any man to start, is to start building confidence inside of himself. You know you need to stop eating bullshit, eat cleaner, and then also track your macros. How do you do that? MyFitnessPal, free app. Literally type in the exact fucking food, weigh it out, boom. You know how much you're eating. You know you gotta go to the gym more. You know you actually gotta do some cardio. Start tracking your steps. You know you gotta drink more water. You know the things you have to do. But you take one step at a time every single day. And once you start progressing towards a better you move away from that regression. Because if you're constantly regressing, and you've probably been doing this for a long time maybe, guess what? That's getting 1% worse every single day. And think about that compounding interest of getting 1% worse every single day. 1% worse day 1, day 2, 2% worse, day 3, 4% worse, day 4, 8% worse, 16% worse, 32% worse, believe that's the math, etc., etc. It just fucking compounds up over time. So you might be at a point in your life where you are literally 15,000% worse than who you could be, where you could be, because if you were getting 1% better every single day, you would be 15,000 times % better, which would pretty much be aligned with who you could be becoming. And so you need to start today. You need to start building up that compounding interest towards the best you every single day. And you start it small. Start by dusting your room. Then you start by vacuuming. Then you clean the mirrors. Then you vacuum. Like, one thing at a time. And eventually you get to a point where your room is clean and you feel good. And you have a clean mind to think with, man. But if you don't start taking care of your garden, your house, your mind now, man, it is just going to become a weedy mess. That's really all it's gonna fucking become. It's gonna become overgrown with bullshit, man. It's gonna become so much that you just look at it every single day and you're like, I don't even want to fucking clean that up, man. So stop fucking waiting to get aligned, man. Your conscience has been calling you towards it for so long. That's why it puts you in that depressed state, man. To get you in deep rest so you sit there and think about what is going on in my life so you make the change. And no matter what you're feeling trapped down by right now, understand you can get out of that. But it all starts with you. You are going to have to mentally get to the point where you physically want to be before you're actually physically there. Your external world will never exceed your internal world. And so it all starts with here. So the fucking beginning is going to be hard. Overcoming the bump is going to be the hardest part. Because if you don't like that job you're working, that degree you're working towards, right? Where you see your life is heading with the actions you are taking every single day, you got to mentally rise above before your physical reality rises to that as well. Understand that, man. I just want to keep talking about this topic because I'm so passionate. I'm so passionate about... I know it's a long video and it's all over the place and it's probably... People are probably going to click off and shit, but I really don't care. This is for people who truly want to create a change. This is for people who truly care. So I'm going to keep fucking talking about this shit. I don't care if the shit's an hour long. I'm going to keep talking about this shit, man, because so many men are plagued by depression. So many men are plagued by anxiety. And it's simply just because of what society has told you, man. That's all it is. But I'm here to tell you the hard truth because love isn't lies. So here's the hard truth. Your habits are bitch habits. Your beliefs are bitch thoughts. Your actions are bitch actions. You aren't a bitch. But those things I just listed, they come from the inner bitch inside of you. They do. That's some shit you gotta destroy. You gotta stop tapping out and bitching out every single time life gets hard. You gotta stop running away every single time it doesn't feel good. Because how are you gonna break past that wall if you don't ever face it? It's like wanting to get to the top of the mountain but not wanting to climb up it. It's that entitlement. So gratitude must come first. And I believe on a vibrational energy chart, gratitude is above acceptance. So you must accept you for who you are first. And then you can be grateful for who you are, even though you know you're far away from who you could be and where you could be. But that's when you can start making that progress. Because you can be grateful for everything you've been through. You can be grateful for all the mistakes you have made. You can be grateful for all the days you've lived out of alignment. Because you realize that struggle you've been through will increase your height of your success. If you didn't go through that shit, you would have no story. You would have no character. You would have no grit. Right? Because if you were living out of alignment for 1 year, you have 1 year of experience to work off of, to help people out with, to talk to people, right? But if you've been doing that shit for years, man, you have a whole bunch of shit to talk about. Because I know me, I kind of started this bullshit when I was 13. I started smoking weed, hanging out with the wrong group, talking to women then. That's when I got into that bad lifestyle, man. All the way up until I was 18. And the only way I changed that shit is When I was driving home from this girl's house one night, got a text on my phone saying that my sister's phone detected a hard stop. Could have been a crash. Drove out there. Found out she died that night. That's what this tattoo means. The day she passed away, man. She was 25. I was 18. She had a kid. And she passed away because of her vices. She couldn't control herself, and so she was in control of other things. And when you're in control of other things, well, you may crash into... Think about life like a boat. If you don't have a fucking... If you can't steer the boat, man, the currents are going to take it wherever. And the currents might crash you into some rocks. The currents might crash you into an island, a deserted island. You might get stuck there, etc. So if you cannot control yourself and steer yourself, you're going to crash. You're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be. That's what happened to her. It wasn't her fault. Completely. But it happened. And so another life transforming conversation I had with this with Sam last night, the cerebral palsy guy who joined the team. I'm so excited to work with him, honestly. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm so excited. Another conversation I had with him is we both had a similar experience, and I'll just share mine. How we thought about death, and how we thought about if we died right now, how we would be depressed with our life. And that's what I faced when my sister passed away. I laid in bed the whole week, pretty much, thinking about life. I didn't cry. I only cried when my mom cried. But I thought about it all, and I saw if I didn't make a change in my life, if I would pass away tomorrow, and I was laying, passing away on the concrete, I would not be happy with the place I was going. I would not be happy with the man I was becoming, because I wasn't even taking any action towards who I know I could become. And again, the reason you feel depressed, anxious, bad, is because you know you're not becoming who you know you could become. You know you're still struggling with vices. You know you're still struggling with something that's holding you back. And you know you gotta overcome it. And you know the only way to overcome it is just to accept the fucking harsh truth of which you don't want to accept. And accept the harsh truth of the change you gotta make. That's what I had to do. Quit vaping that week. Quit just dating whoever. Quit just doing bullshit with my life. It's when I started waking up at the same time every single day, journaling. I was working this job at the time, but then I started to work on growing my social media. And in 7 months, I made so much progress. I grew my TikTok to 100,000, and it's just growing a following number. But this is what all set me up to get to this point now, where I make a full-time living online. I'm able to help out people. And that all started that day, because I knew that's what I was set on earth to do. I believe it's my special ability, and it's my purpose to help change young men, to help coach young men. Because every day I keep doing this, I feel so purposeful. This camera might overheat, so this video might end any minute, but just think about that. If later today or tomorrow you're driving and you get hit by a dump truck, boom, head cracked, you got 5 seconds, how do you feel about your life? Do you pass away thinking you were on your journey? You did every fucking thing today you could have done to move the needle ahead and become who you were destined to become? Or did you regress? Did you move backwards? Did you make excuses? Did you allow your past to fucking stop you? Did you allow your fucking feelings to fucking stop you? That right there is a scary thought. And if that doesn't help you make a change, man, I don't know fucking what will. But to any young man out there who are going through a struggle, who need some fucking guidance, need some help, need somebody to talk to, check out the link in the description. That's all I'm going to say. Or hit me up on my Instagram DMs, okay? I'm going to end this video here because it's a long one and I got client check-ins to go get back to, but I know it's a long topic, but I just really want to talk about this, guys. Okay. Yeah. I love y'all.